Hi everybody, it's me, Ferentino. What's up? So I'm here today with Miss Madam Sunshine. And Miss Madam Sunshine would like to interview me about being an author. Hi Miss Madam Sunshine, how are you? Oh, I'm super duper darling. Yes, I'm ready. Wow, Miss Madam Sunshine, that's a good question. So, Miss Madam Sunshine would like to know, when did I write my first book? I wrote my first book in 2004. And then I wrote my second book in 2006. And then in 2018, I had an explosion of books. I wrote like 5 different books. Okay, that's a good question, Miss Madam Sunshine. She would like to know, what type of books do I write? So I write anything that my mind feels like writing, pretty much. I don't have a particular genre that I stick to. I typically will write from either experience or poetry. And that's about it. That's a good question, Miss Madam Sunshine. Miss Madam Sunshine asked me, what do I use, um, what do I use to inspire, what inspires my creativity, you say? Oh, okay. So what do I use to inspire my creativity? It really depends on life, pretty much. It's like if I'm dealing with a situation, like when I wrote the book Branded, right? I was in pursuit of talking about branding in my life, and so I thought that maybe I should write about this. I think that it could help somebody. And then it was another time when I was dealing with a spiritual thing, and I was like, hey, I can write about this. And so, of course, Miss Madam Sunshine, I wrote about that too. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a good question. So Miss Madam Sunshine asked me, what is my strongest attribute while writing? And I personally believe that my strongest attribute while writing is staying focused, staying consistent. I can start this evening and work clean until the sun rises, and I can go to sleep and goodness, honey, I wake up 2 hours later writing some more. It's like my creative engine, it just keeps grinding and grinding, and I find myself always lost in whatever it is that I'm writing about. Hmm? Oh, that's a good question too, Miss Madam Sunshine. So it typically depends on what I'm writing about. So, for example, when I wrote my very first book, it took about a year and a half. When I wrote the next book, that was just a matter of poetry, a collection of poetry that had developed over a course of time. As my second poetry book, it was like 317 poems in a book, and of course that was over a duration of time. And then I just created an anthology and put it all together in a book. Um, but then it was another book I had written that I started in 2010 that I didn't finish until 2018. And I think that what I was doing with this story is I was afraid of telling the story because I didn't want people to think that I was referring to them or somehow secretly trying to expose them. So I was afraid of people misreading the message. And then when I wrote the book Branded, that only took like 10 months. I'm working on a book now, and the book is called Felicity Boulevard. It is so good. I mean, it is a page turner. And it starts out with a young lady who is named Felicity. And she has many life trials and so forth. But I started on that book a week ago, and I'm already 29 pages in. So it just depends on what I feel like writing together. You know, I guess I have time now. It's COVID-19, quarantine season, and honey, you got all the time in the world. So write a book. hmm Okay, so that's a good question too, Miss Madam Sunshine. Miss Madam Sunshine asked me, most people start writing a book and they don't finish. And then she said, or asked me, what is my motivation? Is that what she said? Or inspiration? Or what is my motivation to see it through to completion? And so I personally believe that my motivation to see any project that I put my hands on, and I don't care what it is, I want to make sure that it gets done. Because see, I was raised like that. You know, I was always told, don't half-ass do something. If you're going to do it all the way. And that's right, Miss Madam Sunshine? And so I decided that when I start writing a book, to see it through to its completion. Now, I will tell you, there are stories that I have began that still need work on them. But I think where the problem is that it's just not time for me to tell that story. Because in my mind, I feel like, well, I know I'm going to complete this story. It's like the book I told you I started in 2010, and I didn't complete it until 2018. And I never planned on it taking, 8 years. I just kept saying, I'm gonna make sure I finish that book. I'm gonna make sure I finish that book. And then before you know it, I was finished that book. So, but my motivation is just keep on going, because that's how I was raised. So you asked, when did I know I wanted to be an author? I knew that I wanted to be an author when I was maybe in I want to say the 7th grade or maybe the 5th grade. Yeah, I was a youngster, but also there's a part of that story too that was an inspiration from my dad. So he used to say, don't just pass through this world, leave a legacy. And I would say, leave a legacy. It's like, yeah, you have to, leave your mark on the world. And I was like, leave my mark on the world? What do you mean? And he was like, write a book, do something other than just exist, make something of yourself. And so I would always ask, what mark did you leave on the world? And he would say, you, you. But I didn't get the joke when he would, when he would say it. Nevertheless, I was really young, and so then maybe when I was maybe like in the 5th or 6th grade, I used to write short stories. And when I would write, people would say, wow, you're so creative. You came up with this on your own? And I'm like, yeah, it just was. I think the first character, his name was Bob, and he was a doctor. And then I can't tell you what happened to Bob and the doctor, but he was successful, whatever the case may be. And so my original desire to write a book was only poetry books, because I used to like writing poetry. But so yeah, that's about it, Miss Sunshine, Madam Sunshine. I'm sorry. You asked him, would I be concerned if people don't read my books? So I do not really have a concern, but then I am concerned. And so I say that because, one, not everything is for everybody. And then two, my concern is that this book is great and I put so much effort into it. If you would just take time to read the story, you too would enjoy it. So that's my two-headed coin, I guess, so to say. Mm-hmm. So you asked me, is there anything I would tell people about writing? And I think that what I would tell a person about writing is to be yourself and to be original. And don't worry if someone likes or dislikes it. Write it because you know that within your heart you are a writer. And don't do it solely for monetary gain. Do it because it's a passion of yours. And remember that my level of writing may not be your level of writing, as my level of writing is not the level that Stephen King writes on, or any other author. So I think it's important that you take time with each project that you do and let it develop, let it manifest. Like I said the other day, I started writing a story, and even though I already have the storyline in my mind, I would start writing a page or a sentence, and then I would step away from it intentionally so that I can gain a new perspective on that same idea. Like, for example, when I first started writing the book, Felicity Boulevard, the person that I'm writing about, I was first writing as third person, and then I turned it into, let me gossip about this person, third person, not just some voice that's talking about a person. So be creative and be original, and don't let people that do despise your work or the field of authorship, don't let them discourage you. Mm? Yes. Oh, that's a good question. So, Madam CJ, I called you Madam CJ. Madam Sunshine. Madam Sunshine. I was going to. You can be Madam CJ while we come do this hair, girl. Look at this hair. Oh, goodness. Yeah, so Madam Sunshine asked, how do I publish my work? And I go through a self-publishing company. I'm not worried if I'm not signed by an author house a publishing house at this stage. I personally hope that my work will one day be picked up by a major or traditional publishing company. When I wrote the book, The Conspiracy, that book, I was getting all type of rave reviews. People was like, this book, and not just people that I deal with on a daily basis, but different companies were calling me, and I still get phone calls about it, telling me that the book needs to be on the New York Times bestsellers list, and we need to make this book into a movie. This book is excellent. The idea of it is phenomenal. I didn't see that thing coming. It was so good. And so, right, baby. That's the whole idea of it. So, Well, thank you so much, Miss Madam Sunshine, for giving me a call, and I appreciate you for interviewing me. Thanks so much. You too. Bye bye.